Hello, hello. It feels like forever since I've last made a video, but I think it's been just over a week since I've uploaded, so embarrassing. This is going to be a low effort video. My apologies. I'm actually just about to take a shower. I've got my little hair mask, oil in, and my little robe on, but I missed you guys. So I thought that I would just make something, I guess. So I've kind of gathered very, very random assortments of objects, and we're just gonna be kind of making sounds and rambling, I guess. A little chit chat, catch up, if you will. The first thing I have is a lint roller. I just watched Shine ASMR's new video, which is like a thrift haul, and I don't know how she does it with her, like, tapping with her fingertips. I don't know. I'm very jealous of the skill. But yeah, I feel like I've been very, I don't know if the word is like stressed or just like, it's been very busy at work, and I've just kind of decided that like I need to put more effort into actually doing things that serve me and benefit me, even though they seem harder than not doing it. I think it'll be worth it. I'm actually reading a book right now, which I have as one of my things that I'm gonna tap on. I'm wondering if that's like maybe what I should be tapping on while I talk about this, but yeah, I've been reading kind of books about childcare, and it makes me realize through reading about like how to take care of others, how much I need to take care of myself, I guess. I think I have this notion that like adults just have this inherent happiness and can survive with like all of the very worldly responsibilities. To be honest, it's kind of what I see around me from like the families that, you know, I work for and every adult in my life. It very much just seems like that, you know, they've got the typical cleaning, making money, going to work, taking care of everything kind of situation, and they just kind of manage. And I don't think I'm fully capable of that. I kind of realize that I feel like I'm just drowning in all of the things I think I should be doing. And I don't actually do anything that brings me joy, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to change that. I am trying to drink more water. Already a hard task. I used to be like known for carrying around the world's biggest water bottle before Stanley Cups were a thing. Like before big water bottles were a thing. I had this massive, like 2-liter water bottle that I would carry around with me. And I, for some reason, just kind of like stopped using it. Probably because of like convenience taking it to work every day. But I think like I started using it again today because I need a massive water bottle to keep me hydrated. But yeah, I also want to be on my phone a lot less. I deleted all of my social media a while ago, the last one I had was Instagram, and I feel like I haven't had Instagram for like 8 months now. And that's definitely helped, but I find that I still, just like out of routine and habit, go on my phone, and I don't know. But unfortunately, I feel like the things that I do now that I don't have social media is online shop. Like go on Marketplace or like Amazon or like eBay or something. And I think that's like really bad, because not only am I just like making myself feel worse by like wanting more when I should kind of be focusing on like gratitude, but also I'm spending money that I do not have to spend. So, yeah. So I'm gonna try and be on my phone less. I'm hoping that I get more into reading. I enjoy reading. I'm not a very big reader at all. But it just makes my brain, my head feel better, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't come naturally to me. Okay, what else do we have? I'll do this one. This is a little sign my best friend got me for Christmas. It says, OMG, it's an angel, and it's a little rat in a graveyard looking at a bat under the moon. Look at this little twine hanger. But yeah, being on my phone less, and doing things that spark joy in my life. I kind of think that, like, I'm trying to think, I feel like it's more of like a teenagery mindset. I definitely don't think I really feel this way currently. Like, I don't feel like I have anyone to impress really right now. So, but I remember being a teenager and just feeling like so weird for the things that I like, or, you know, just so like embarrassed about everything or anxious about everything. And I kind of don't care at all anymore, which is nice, but I'm not really taking advantage of the not caringness. So I've started a little project in my spare time. I started making a doll house, kind of, and it's been really fun. It's kind of like combined a bunch of stuff that I really liked as a child, and it's kind of sparking this like little nostalgia element. I do not have any dolls to go in this dollhouse, but I think that's besides the point. Yeah, so I was a huge Barbie player as a child. I think I stopped when I was like 13, 14 maybe, because I kind of just was embarrassed that I was still playing with dolls, which, like, looking back on, I'm like, no, never stop. But yeah, so I was obsessed with Barbies. They're like my favorite toy ever. And then I also, in like kind of a separate fun thing, I really loved like hobbyist doll houses and miniatures, I guess. When I don't know how old I was, but I went to the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia and saw an artist's exhibit. His name is Graham Patterson. You should look him up. He's like pretty phenomenal, and he does all sorts of like very creepy kind of miniatures, I guess. I don't know, you kind of have to look it up and see, but I feel like ever since then, I was pretty young. My life has just been like completely changed. And actually, I don't think I've ever shared this on the internet, but until I was 17, my dream job and what I was planning on going to school for was actually to work in like stop motion animation with like sets and stuff. Both of my parents are in the film industry, so I kind of just wanted to do something like that, but I guess childcare was something that I just in practice enjoyed more, maybe. But yeah, so I really love building stuff. And in the pandemic, I did a little bit of it, and I had an art show, which was really, really cool. But I kind of just don't do that anymore. So I thought that I'd kind of combine the two and create like a little adult. It's not a house, it's like an apartment, basically, for non-existent Barbies that I don't have and probably won't get. I can't see myself getting Barbies, but I will have an apartment for them if they come to visit. So that's been really fun to build. I think it's just like nice because I feel like I'm creating something. But yeah. What else do I have for you? I have this little man. He's so cute. Or creepy, depending on how you feel about him. I went to a folk art festival, and it's something that my boyfriend's family does every year, but this was my first year going. And I really wanted to buy something, but things sell really quickly and are quite expensive. But I saw this little strange bald mustache man, and I thought he was absolutely darling and beautiful. And so I got him, and I love him very much, and he sits on that shelf over there, but you probably can't see him. He's got a big nose and some large ears. He's very cute, but he's got this he's like a very soft wood. And I feel like it has soft wood tapping potential. Another thing that I did recently, which I loved, is I actually went out 2 weekends. No, two days, 1 weekend. When I was younger, and I'm talking like really young, I think they split up when I was before that, 5. Yeah, my dad used to be in a band, and they just kind of like split up, yeah. But I love them, and my cousin and I are like their biggest fans. One of their albums is on Spotify and like Apple Music, but the rest of them I have on like CD, and I'm obsessed with them. And so this year, they were asked to open like a show and play a set at a show and do like a little reunion. God, it was like, how many years ago was that? 15 years ago? No, more. I don't know. No, if I was 5, then it wouldn't have been 15. Because that would make me 20. And that's not good math. But, yeah, so they did 2 nights. And there was other bands. There was, I think, 4 other bands. And, I am not a very tired because I went out the first night and I was exhausted. It was a Friday, so like I had just worked like a long day, so I probably had to do it. And then I was like, I'm gonna go the next night either way, so I'll stay for the other bands next night. And then lo and behold, I totally went home and fell asleep. Whoopsie daisy. But they were so good, and it was like a dream. Why are you doing this, little Mike? It was really fun. I got to dress up in their merch and dance my little butt off, which I think I really liked. I'm like a very sober person, I guess, for my own reasons. But yeah, so I don't drink. So I was completely sober at this bar, and which, if you don't know, it's kind of hard to dance at a bar when you're sober. If you're me, maybe not if you're someone else that loves to dance, but I'm not a very good dancer. But it was really nice because I just kind of, it felt like there was like nothing to lose. Like it was just such a like once in a lifetime experience, and it was so in the moment and so like joyful, and I was so happy for them, and I was so happy to be there. And it was really freaking amazing. I loved it. So I think I looked like probably like the biggest fangirl of all time. I mean, it was pretty obvious that I was his daughter, but yeah. Because I gave him great big hugs before and after. So yeah. So, but that was really, really fun. I really enjoyed that. Very good time. I don't know. I feel like I wish I knew who did this, so I could like promote them in some way, but this does not give any clear hints. I also have these little hair clips, which I feel like match my nails really well, which is kind of why I picked them up. They're these little clicky, I think they're just like resin hair clips. I got them like a few years ago as a present from, like part of a present from my boyfriend's mom and sister. So they're really cute. They're good to put your hair back with when you're doing your makeup. But yeah, I like that they match my nails. What else have I been doing? Self-improvement, yada yada yada. Going to see a band one weekend. Very impressive. In May, I'm going to Europe, which is extremely exciting. I have been to Europe before, but the places that I am going, I have never been. I'm going with my boyfriend's family. They go on vacations quite a bit, I want to say, but they've been to Europe quite a bit. I think. Maybe I'm just like speaking out of my ass, I don't know. But I lived in the UK for 4 months. Not very long, but yeah, I've been to England and Belgium and Portugal and Poland. And I think those are all the European places, countries I've been. But this trip, I'm going to places that I've never been. I am going to Paris and Amsterdam and Switzerland and Italy, which are all places I've never been. I have to stop spending money and start saving because can I afford to go to those places right now? generous, and I actually would not be able to afford this trip at all if it wasn't for like them being able to stay at like their hotels and stuff like that. And they're using some of their like Aeroplan points on my flight, so that's really kind and generous, and obviously like a super incredible experience. So I'm very excited about that, a little bit nervous, financially, a little bit nervous financially, but overall excited. It's so funny. His mom is like, I don't know if I want to say it's like her like official job, but she like manages everything on like film sets. And so she's like kind of like the mom of moms. She's just on top of everything, and like literally has like spreadsheets and itineraries already for this trip, so it's like crazy. But I'm really excited because I like to just go along with other people and kind of just tag along. It's much more enjoyable and relaxing, I think. So yeah, that'll be really fun. This is the little book I've been reading. It's called Beyond the Rainbow Bridge, Nurturing Our Children from Birth to 7. I started reading this book because it wasn't really a recommendation. I don't know if you guys know Becca Martinez. She's like maybe my favorite person ever. She's like the one influencer that I like actually am heartbroken that I cannot see all the time. I'm obsessed with her. She was on The Bachelor, but she was a 22-year-old nanny at the time. Ring any bells? So now she has like, obviously she's an influencer and she has 3 kids, and like they're just like the cutest little family, and they've got like chickens and rabbits and living my dream. And so she was talking about how her middle son, Frank, has a hard time, like gets overwhelmed with really gentle parenting styles. And she was saying how this was one of her favorite books to read, and she reread it, and she was just saying that, it was useful, I guess. She was talking about it. And I was like, you know what? I want to read whatever book Becca is recommending to me. So I bought it. Secondhand, but it looks brand new, so that's nice. Yeah, I feel like I don't really understand the title Beyond the Rainbow Bridge, because from what I looked up, it was very difficult to find this book, because there are several other books called Beyond the Rainbow Bridge that are seemingly about pet death and where pets go after they pass away. So I'm not really sure, but it's really interesting. So this is actually young children trust the world completely and absorb each and every impression with great openness. The responsibility of adults is to understand children's developmental needs, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, and establish a healthy foundation for the rest of life. So yeah, basically the concept of it is that it was this woman. It's based around kind of like the Waldorf, I don't know if it's like a method or whatever, but the Waldorf style parenting, I guess. And it was this woman who, her child went to Waldorf, a Waldorf school, and his teacher was just like brilliant, and she would hold these like talks, I think at her own home, for like the parents, and apparently this woman was like, this needs to be in a book, so they kind of just created a book, and it's quite small. I've been reading it for about a day or two. I'm almost halfway done, and I've only been reading it like before bed. And so it's a really quick read, and it's really lovely. I went to school briefly for early childhood education, actually, and my favorite part of my like classes was learning about the history of early childhood education and like different philosophers and things that have impacted the way we view things, and of course a very popular thing now is like the Montessori method, and learning about Maria Montessori and kind of how it came to be. I actually do not know a lot about Waldorf schools or methods. My sister almost went to a Waldorf school, actually, so I knew they existed, but I didn't really like think much of it. I was much younger when I guess learned about it. This book isn't like it's not like a history. It doesn't actually tell you kind of about the Waldorf method. It's really just like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really, really nice. I really like it. I feel like it's a very warm feeling in my heart, this book, because it really is all about nurturing children, and I think that that's like my favorite part of my job, and is so beautiful, and it has a lot of really, really helpful strategies. I think with everything like this, you don't need to follow this stuff like gospel. Like, there's going to be things that you agree with and that you don't agree with. This book, I think, the woman, Barbara J. Patterson, her husband was like a minister or something, so there's like very, 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 very brief mentions of like religion, like just things like how church was part of her routine when she was growing up, so stuff like that. I'm not religious in any way, but so I'm not going to say that it's like the end all be all, this is what I'm like, whatever, but it's super insightful. It's very helpful. It's very straight to the point. And it says readers will learn healthy rhythms in home and school, what kind of play stimulates imagination, how to protect a child's developing 12 senses, the stages of child's physical growth, sensible ideas for creating creative discipline, how to create birthday stories, not dolls and puppets. So it's a very like informative on like practical uses, which I find very, very useful. One thing that I really like, obviously for young children, I mean, I guess it's not obvious if you don't work with young children or have them, but one of the things is routine and rhythm is like super important, because if you think about it, young children don't have the communication skills and can't recognize days of the week, so having a routine is very important for them to feel safe and regulated. What am I going to tap on next? Maybe my old textbook. I feel like this is very informative. Here's one of my old textbooks. being an early childhood professional, I really like the sticky tapping sounds of this. But yeah, so children need a routine in their life, especially in the earlier ages. And so she talks a lot about that in the book. But one thing that I wasn't aware of but makes like a lot of sense is she said that in Waldorf schools they use something called the breathe in and breathe out method, which is really actually quite interesting, and I'd never heard of it before. But the concept is that they used like an example of like a day-to-day thing, which I feel like describes it the best, which was like when the kids come in from school, they have a little bit of like a small free play before school gets started. And so that's an example of like breathe out, like there's more freedom and exploration. And then they go together for circle time and like story time, and so that's a breathe in, so they're all together and it's like part of their routine, structured. And then they have, another set of like kind of free play learning time, and so that's breathe out again. And then lunchtime, breathe in, and then outdoor time, breathe out, things like that, which obviously that's just an example. You can kind of, do what you want with that information, but what am I saying? My brain is not here today. But yeah, I thought it was like a really fascinating method because when you really think about it, it does kind of make sense, because obviously everyone's goal is kind of to support the exploration, learning, and independence of a child, and of course their well-being. But children really need a sense of security, and so having kind of like this free ability, but knowing you're going to come back in and like, be around adults and have something that is going to happen, is very comforting and provides a lot of security, and also allows them to be a lot more just kind of open and go with the flow and creative with the kind of the free breathe out activities, I guess. So I find that really interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I obviously don't have children, but yeah, I don't know. But I really like it. It's really good. The reason I have this out is because I was looking through. There's a chapter on this about the history of early childhood education in Canada. And a lot of it is kind of about the psychologists, philosophers, just a bunch of very impactful people and their beliefs and how those beliefs evolved into what we know today. And it's very fascinating, but I was going through and I don't think they mention anything about the Waldorf stuff here. So I don't know. I kind of feel like the Waldorf method, as far as I can see, would be a more useful tool in like your own personal home rather than maybe a school. I mean, to each their own, but that's just maybe how I feel. I don't know though. A Waldorf kind of sounds kind of fun, but this little crystal. I got this when I was like, I want to say like 8 or 9, at like a geological museum. And I remember just like being totally obsessed with this because it was like a window to a whole new sparkly world. Um, it's got this polished flat side with the like obvious kind of hole revealing the jagged sparkly bits, and then the outside is very geode rock texture. I wonder how they do this. Is it just polished? Because I feel like this would be like a tumbler, but you couldn't tumble this. Or maybe this is just how it cracks open, although I doubt it. But it's really interesting seeing all the like jagged layers. Sorry, I just got really into that for some reason. Yeah. I find parenting very fascinating. I think one of the reasons is I think childhood and reflecting on parenting practices and how to care for children is it's very relevant to also like adults. Like the things that you're supposed to kind of I don't know, I feel like it's very insightful to human beings in general, like learning about stuff like that, because if you think about it, like young children are just very much like the raw essence of human beings. You know what I mean? Like if you boiled human beings down, you would get like a toddler, what they need, how they communicate, like, you know, just purely like emotional and developmental. And the building blocks to be successful, like it's almost like deconstructing your beliefs or knowledge on yourself and others and the world. So I personally am totally fascinated by the subject. I am going to read a bunch of Montessori parenting books afterwards to see how they compare. Yeah, anyway. Wow. I'm running out of things to talk about. But yeah, I kind of guiltily only bought that book because my boyfriend started rereading Lord of the Rings. And so I feel like I feel like a jackass if like he's like before bed he's like reading and tucking himself in and winding down, and I'm over here like on my phone. So I wanted to start reading too, and I'm happy I did. I don't read often. The last thing is this cute little spiral notepad that I found. I have no idea where I would have gotten this, probably as a present. I don't ever write in notebooks like this. I kind of wish I did. It's a very pretty design with these kind of like sage green leaves, and this, I think, no, it's not. I was gonna say I thought they were metallic, but they're not. It's kind of like burnt yellowy almost. Maybe mustard yellow is a better way to describe it. Little flowers. And this little tiny red-headed woman in a cute bathing suit. She's so adorable. And she's the star of the show. I was looking through. And the only thing that I have written is actually, it's not old because I wrote it kind of recently, like a year ago. But it's like old therapy homework, I guess. My dad was asking about the type of therapy homework that I used to do for my anxiety. And it a really, really bad anxiety disorder when I was 13. Like, I couldn't go to school for like 6 months. It was really bad. Did I say 13? I'm worried that I said 15, but I meant 13. Okay, when I was 13. And I would have like really, really painful panic attacks, which I would have to go to the hospital for. Not to have a sad story, but I ended up going to group therapy, and I learned about this strategy, which I found was the most helpful for me at that time, which was the realistic thinking strategies. And so I was trying to remember how to do that or what. So basically I think there's 10, I can't be sure though, unhelpful thinking strategies. So like catastrophizing, mind reading. I'm not going to be able to name any more than that, I don't think. Jumping to conclusions. Yeah, you can Google them, I think. But the way you do it is you first write out the situation that you're feeling, I guess in this situation, anxious about. So like going to the grocery store. And then you write down like worst case scenario, like what your brain is telling you, like, the grocery store is going to catch on fire, I'm going to run into my ex, I'm going to throw up, I don't know. And then you write how that makes you feel. So like upset, scared, overwhelmed, I don't know. And then you identify what type of feeling that is. I don't know what that would be. I don't know if it would be like catastrophizing or maybe like jumping to conclusions. I guess for this case you can say it's catastrophizing because you're just like over exaggerating. I don't think that's what it is in reality, but. And then you write down the realistic outcome, like without any of those, without your unhelpful thinking strategies. So like in reality, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. It's gonna be very uneventful. I'm gonna feel just okay about it. Maybe not happy, maybe not sad, but like it's gonna be, I'm gonna pay, I'm gonna leave. It'll take 30 minutes. And then you write down how that makes you feel. And it kind of just like manually rewires your brain into I don't know, not thinking erratically, I guess. I don't know if that's the word or not, but I found it very helpful. I was a lot younger. I don't know if it would like work the same at the, for adults, because I feel like I was still very malleable at 13. So it was very impactful for me, and my developing brain. But yeah, my dad was asking about that because he knows someone who he thought could like use it, and he was like, what was that called again? And so it's kind of fun. I kind of realized that it doesn't really need to be applied to just anxiety. I definitely don't have anxiety anymore. Like, I would say that I've done like a lot of work and I'm not anxious, which is nice. I'm happy with that. But honestly, you could do that with so many situations. Like, it's a very useful tool that I don't think I utilize at all in my everyday life. So that's kind of fun. Anyways, I'm gonna go take my shower, and it's kind of been a little bit of a rough period, and yeah, I'm gonna try and make videos because it does, I do enjoy it. But just please be patient with me. I wish I was creating like the best ASMR content in the world, but I definitely don't think that is in my skill set or capabilities at the moment. please forgive me for that. But thank you for watching. As always, I'll see you when I see you.